Bring the dancers.
Whoa, whoa, let's talk with Lakshmee.
Again now.
Whoa, whoa, let's talk with Lakshmee. Yeah.
Bring the topics. Let we chat now.
The Caribbean community is one of the largest immigrant communities here in North America. We have excelled so much when we think about the medicine, arts, and of course science. Today on Let's Talk with Lakshmee, we're privileged to bring on a beautiful and talented actress who has been wowing audiences with her one-woman solo show. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome in Miss Ingrid Griffith. Ingrid, welcome to Let's Talk with Lakshmee. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm so excited to have you on. I've been hearing so much about this one-woman show. I mean, I've heard of one-woman shows, of course, you know, all around, but never by a Guyanese female actress. So first of all, I have to say congratulations.
Thank you.
On wowing the audience. I can't wait to see the show. I know you're currently on a tour.
Yes.
But, you know, tell our audiences a little bit about you, Ingrid. Where are you from in Guyana?
I'm from Georgetown, Guyana. I grew up on Hatfield Street. My grandmother, my paternal grandmother was there. Before I grew up on Hatfield Street, I was on Albert Street, which is not too far. And then my parents got visas for America, and so we were shipped over to my grandmother who lived on Hatfield Street. So I grew up there until I was 12 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is where the story begins. I was reading a little bit about you on DEMERARAGOLD.com.
Yes.
And it tells about your story, your trials, your tribulations as a young Guyanese child leaving Guyana and coming to America, but at first being left in Guyana by your parents. Tell us a little bit about this story.
Well, it's sort of like the child left behind story syndrome that we don't really hear or we know of, but we really don't talk about, where the parents, because the first thing is someone has to get the visa to go. We all don't get it at the same time, generally speaking. And I was 7 years old, so I didn't know this. So when my parents got visas, I thought, well, we're all going. And then they said, no, mom and dad are going, but you're going to go at Grandma Ada's for, you know, for a little while, but we'll be back soon. And that's where the story started, where my story starts, the show. I'm accepting the fact that they're going to leave and come back soon, and can't wait for them to come back. So I'm in tears as they go, saying, don't go, and then waiting for them to say, yes, we have visas for you guys, come on to America. And so that's it. And it takes longer then, of course.
Yeah. So tell me, Ingrid, as a 7-year-old child, what were you thinking? Did you think mom and dad are, you know, going on a vacation to New York City, or did you know that maybe they're not coming back?
No, well, I thought they were going, but they're coming, well, they said soon. So I thought soon, maybe like tomorrow, maybe next week, definitely before my birthday, you know, before Christmas. Soon to me was, I don't know, it didn't seem like a long, long time. So I was trying not to cry when they were leaving because I know they're coming back soon. And we all knew that America was the place to go. So we were supposed to be happy about the whole thing, you know, and people were, family members were. As a 7-year-old, I was not really, but I knew I was supposed to be, so I was trying to be with the program. And it was actually okay if they came back soon, but soon took a long time.
So what was that like? I mean, we have a lot of young audiences that are born here in America, and they probably could never imagine why you would leave. Why would your parents leave you? I mean, what was going on as a 7-year-old child in your head? Because I'm sure a lot of kids who are born here in America can never understand or even begin to know or empathize with what you went through as a child.
Well, I think I was hearing my parents. They were saying, what we have is not enough. We lived in a tiny, 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 tiny flat. My dad and mom biked us to school. You know, we put it on at the back of the bike, on the saddle, one on the bar. And my sister and I mean, as in we. And I have an older sister. She's a year and a half older than I am. So we went to school. We stayed at our grandmother's when my dad had somewhere to go or my mom had somewhere to go. But it was a life, the only life I knew, but they were saying, well, we want better schools for you. We want better jobs for ourselves. We want us to have a house, a comfortable house. We want a bathroom with a latrine, a toilet in the house. You know, we want running water indoors, things like that, you know, as a 7-year-old, I just figured this is how everybody is and lives. And they were saying otherwise. So they had dreams, and America was the opportunity. And everybody in my circle, you know, my uncles, my aunts, my grandmothers, they had friends, and they knew people who were leaving for America to go to school, to send back for their family, to have a better life. I mean, that was the thing. So if you got an opportunity, you go. If you got a visa, you're out of there. You're in America.
So tell me, what was it like living with Grandma?
Oh, gosh. Well, I had 2 grandmothers. Okay. One was strict, and one was even stricter.
So how did that work? Were you all in the same house? Or?
No. So my grandmother, Ada, my dad's mom, who we stayed with, she lives on Hatfield Street. But then I have another grandmother who lived on Forshaw Street. Ada was super strict. But my other grandmother, Granny, she was a Seventh-day Adventist, so she was also very, very strict in a religious sort of way, but she was very cool. Okay. Not that Ada wasn't cool, but Ada was like a school teacher. Her parents were schoolmasters. Her mom was the organist of the church. They built the church. They lived on the church property. So she had like a very strict upbringing, and that's what she knew. So it was school. We weren't supposed to go out to play. We were supposed to go to music lessons, school, and stay in the house. And I was like, I want to go play with my friends. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to go to my other grandmothers. I want to because when my parents were there, they'd put us on the bike, and we just go biking, you know, wherever. And now Ada doesn't go. She doesn't even have a bike. She doesn't go anywhere. Uh-huh. She doesn't go anywhere. And she's like, I have to look at you girls and protect you girls until your parents come back. So that was the change.
So you were 7. Mom and Dad left you with grandparents.
Yes.
When did they come back?
Well, that's the story. That's part of the story. It took 5 years. So I was 12 when we got a visa, my sister and I, to join them in the U.S. But it didn't quite happen as smoothly as I'm telling you. So that's part of the story, how we actually did get the visa, what it took to get the visa.
So in 5 years, you didn't see your parents?
I didn't see my parents.
How often did you speak to them?
We didn't speak to them.
So you didn't speak to your parents in 5 years?
Right. We wrote letters, but we never heard their voices. They sent pictures. But that was it. This was in the 70s. So things weren't as, you know, there's no internet and right. And Facebook and so that's what we knew. My grandmother actually had a telephone. She was one of the few people in the neighborhood, because neighbors would come over and borrow a telephone. But we knew it was very, very costly to make a call to America, and we never did it. And our parents, I think they probably made a decision to not call, because then the tears are going to come, and when are you coming back is going to start. So I think that was part of, you know, they just made a decision not to go there.
Ingrid, was there a time that you forgot your parents in 5 years?
No, never forgot my mom and dad. No. I longed for my parents. My grandmother was very, very protective, and she was a great grandmother. And but my parents, I needed my parents, and I was that type. Like I'm a very sensitive child. You know, don't talk much. Stubborn. That's. I say sensitive, my grandmother says stubborn. But I know what I want, and I'm affected by if I don't see what I want. So, you know, I'm always like whining. I was known for to be the whiner, or crying, or moody.
Did you say you were traumatized?
I was traumatized. I was definitely traumatized. And that's the story about the children that are left behind. What's going on with them? We don't hear those. We don't hear their side of the story. We hear about the parents coming to America and everything's wonderful. And, oh, yes, I'm sending back money for the kids. Or, yes, but what are the kids thinking? And what's that like for the kids to just be yearning and longing? And the mixed feelings of feeling lucky, because friends are saying, oh, you're so lucky, your parents are in the States. And I'm like, I don't feel lucky. I feel like an orphan.
You wanted them.
I really, really wanted to be with them.
So Ingrid, it was you and your sister left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Were you each other's support system? Who was stronger? Or
gosh.
Tell me about that a little bit.
My sister was definitely the stronger. She's a little older than me. We look like twins. Mm-hmm. I was just as tall as she was. And my mom used to, even before my parents left, she used to dress us alike. So we were always like twins, and like we held one head. You know, in Guyana they say, oh, you two. Like I would look at her and she knows what I'm thinking, and vice versa. And we had this like thing between us that no one else knew what was going on, and it just got more and more so when our parents left. And as we got older, we got even closer. It actually was a little scary, because that's how we just communicated with our own cues, and no one else could, you know. So we were there for each other, but I think my sister was more realistic. She was the typical big sister.
Oh. Did you guys have any friends that were going through the same thing in school?
Not close friends. Our close friends, actually, their parents were in Guyana. But we knew of people, like maybe relatives, but not our actual friends. No. So we were like, you know, and that was the thing. They're like, well, you guys are lucky. And I would bring pictures of my mom and my dad, and it's like, oh, look how nice they are. Look at the beautiful home. So this was this strange feeling within me.
Were you ever mad at them when they sent the pictures? Were you ever mad? Like, what are they doing? Why are they here doing this? Are they having fun without me?
I think so, yes. I definitely said, are they having fun without me? Look how they're all dressed up, because they were like, and you know, for a kid, dressed up is, they're probably, you know, dressed up because, number one, it's probably cold in the U.S., so they have the hat and the glove and the da-da-da-da, and the boots and the handbag, and I'm like, they're like they're doing okay. And that's not fair, but yes, a lot of that went on, but you know, we exchanged lots of letters. That was our thing.
Communication.
A lot of letters. My parents sent probably, well, Guyana mail. The Guyana mail is slow. It's like, I was going to say weekly, but more like probably twice a month. And they also sent us lots of treats. So the barrels would show up.
Would you get lots of barrels coming in?
Lots of barrels.
Okay.
Which is a great
that's
thing.
Why the friends were like, well, you're lucky. You're getting everything from America, barrels and clothes. And
everything you can think
toys,
of. Every single thing. So in the show, a barrel arrives. So I'm not going to tell you what's in the barrel, but that's one of the things, because, yeah, they were trying to make us feel okay by sending us the things that we asked for. So we had everything. And, yeah, that was a trade-off.
So it's very interesting to hear the story. I mean, most of the time that, you know of people coming to America who've left the Caribbean, you don't really get to hear about the children that were left behind. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about when you came to America, what it was like.
Nanking chain of restaurants serves a large variety of Chinese, Thai, and Indian cuisine, prepared by seasoned chefs and experienced professionals. Check out one of Nanking's newest restaurants at 134-07 Rockaway Boulevard, South Ozone Park, New York. Nanking proudly serves halal meats, vegetarian, non-vegetarian, and seafood delicacies. Nanking Restaurants caters to private and corporate events for all occasions in their restaurants and banquet halls. Nanking Restaurants, a chain of restaurants which are also conveniently located in South Plainfield, New Jersey, Jersey City, New Jersey, Iceland, New Jersey, New York, New York, Atlantic City, New Jersey, New Hyde Park, Long Island, and the grand opening of their newest location at 134-07 Rockaway Boulevard, South Ozone Park, New York. Reserve your table today at 718-323-3555. That's 718-323-3555. For more information, visit nankingRestaurantGroup.com.
2 months ago, after my mother's hospitalization, the doctors wanted to put her on hospice. And I'm like, you know, they deemed her terminal. And I saw Mr. Thakur, I think the founder, on TV, and he was advertising this Indian community in Kings Harbor. It's a great Indian community where my mother feels at home, and she expresses her happiness to me whenever I come.
I know when I come I feel happy. I stay a couple days and I see everybody and I'm so happy.
I brought my mother here like a month and a half ago, and I haven't regretted my decision. It's one of the best decisions I've made for my mother. It's a home away from home.
Elegant Floral Design. We can help you beautify your event. No occasion is too big or too small. We specialize in floral decor and party planning for every event. Please call 718-322-9786. Please use promo code Lakshmee for a discount.
Well, viewers, we are back with the talented Ingrid Griffith, who is doing a solo one-woman show talking about her trials and tribulations as a young child, leaving Guyana only at 7 years old and coming here to the United States of America. So, Ingrid, we were talking a little bit about what it was like when your parents first left you, growing up in Guyana for 5 years, you, your sister, the support system, what you felt about. So, 5 years later, you get a visa. You come to New York. You're on that plane. Tell me the experience going to the airport.
Oh my God, because it was amazing. I remember I don't think I slept that night. I know exactly what I wore. We went to this, the seamstress, and she made like, I had a pantsuit on, my sister also, not matching this time. And it was just so exciting to sing in the plane, and you know, I wasn't scared at all. You know, everybody's like, "Oh, the plane is scary." No, no, no. And it was my first time, of course, in a plane, and I was just terribly excited. Everything was perfect. I can't even remember if it was bumpy or not bumpy. The ride, whatever it was perfect. I just wanted to be here in America with my parents.
What month did you arrive?
In April. Okay. It was spring. But it was cold. Oh. And I didn't, of course, we were like, sure, bring it on, you know. Oh, I can't wait for cold. I can't wait for snow. And we got out, my mom had coats for us. And in the show, there's a story about how cold I am.
How cold it was, right?
And like, this is what happens here? And is this how it will remain for a while? So it was very, it was a shock. The cold was definitely, I was happy to be here, but I remember shivering in my pantsuit, and shivering because my mom had like brought us like windbreakers. She called them windbreakers because it's like for the, April weather. And looking back, I needed a winter coat, like a down winter coat.
Experiencing that. Tell me, how did you feel when you first saw your parents?
Excited. It's part of my story, so I'm not going to say too much, but yes, I was very, very happy to see them. We had pictures, so I knew exactly what they would look like, because they sent lots and lots of photos with their letters. But it was different seeing them. And of course, I had a different sort of expectation than what actually did happen, which is part of my story. But it was finally, it was like I couldn't wait.
So where did you land? Where did you guys live?
We landed at JFK airport, and the ride to Long Island, we lived in Wheatley Heights, which is in Suffolk County. It's between like Wyandanch and like Huntington.
Yeah, it's out there.
yeah, it's out there. It's like about an hour, maybe 40.
Totally different environment from Georgetown. Totally different
So
environment.
that's the thing. It was number one, the cars on the expressway. There's no such thing as an expressway in Guyana. All those cars, I was like, what's going on here? And then everybody's like driving like, you know, like they're like just looking straight ahead, and 6 lanes of traffic just speeding along. So it was very, it was eye-opening, but it was also a little bit of like
Traumatizing
yeah.
too. From one trauma to another trauma.
More trauma.
Right? Tell me about school. Your first day of
Oh
school.
gosh, my
What was
first
that
day.
like?
That was a little weird as well. Number
Because
one,
out there, it's more, you know, American, white people, Caucasians, right?
yeah.
So it was very different. Now,
Very different.
Here you are, a Guyanese little girl. I'm sure you had a little accent.
a big accent,
Okay.
and very Guyanese in terms of just how I dressed, you know, not Americanized, and there's a difference that I didn't know. So we would come with our little dresses and our little shoes, and we were like soft-spoken, and no one knew what I was talking about, because they said, oh, you have an accent, you sound so sing-songy, oh, where are you from, Africa, Jamaica? I mean, they had no idea what Guyana was. And when I did tell them, they said, oh, all right, Ghana.
Ghana.
So it was like one of those things like you couldn't really get through to them. And yes, it was 90% white student body, and probably 95 actually, because there were maybe about 50 students that were Afro-American or Afro-Caribbean. I think there were probably, I didn't know any, but there must have been a couple of other Caribbean students there, maybe not. But it was huge. You know, I'm used to in Guyana, you know, small school building. This was like a jail, and it was like from 7th to 10th grade. And it looked like this fortress, and it was like, and cold. Of course. Concrete, and it's like, you know, winter, everything was, it was very, very different than what I thought. I mean, it's funny, I'm saying all this, and it sounds like, what a horrible thing. And no, I was very glad to be here, but it was so very different than what I thought. You know, I couldn't imagine all that. So I didn't make friends easily. It took a very, very long time, and my sister and I would huddle, like, no one's speaking to us, and I run home to my mom and say, oh, they said this about us, oh, they said that about us. And she's like, oh, don't worry with them. It's okay, y'all are, that kind of thing. Y'all don't bother with them.
So tell me, when did you decide to become an actor? Did you go to school for acting?
I did, but after I went to school for I got a business administration degree because I needed my mom. Well, things happened. A lot happened. There was a big change in our lives after my dad actually. Things changed because my dad left the home. This is not in the story, but this is something I think that has to do with acting and why I decided to get into acting. So I knew I had to get a job, and I knew I had to finish school, you know, go on to college. But after I got out, I decided to try doing commercials. And I had a boyfriend who was a photographer. Okay. I met, and he, you know, I took pictures, and I started doing some commercial work, print commercial work. And then I started to do some television commercial work, got an agent, and they said, well, maybe you should take some acting classes, because I had an accent. And they said, you know, you look like you're comfortable, da-da-da-da-da. And I was very interested in doing it. And I think it had a lot to do with me shutting down as a kid and as a teenager, shutting down as a kid with my grandmother, because it was a lot about structure and restrictions. And so I wasn't quite myself growing up with my grandmother. I had to change. She insisted that I change. And then when I came here, things happened here as well that also kind of like suppressed my voice. So I think as a young adult, I decided like I needed to speak. And I think that's what led to acting. I mean, it wasn't a conscious thing, but looking back, I think it had to do with just trying to find my voice and being heard. And if I can do it through acting in character, maybe, you know, that might be the thing to make me feel more myself or whole or full as a person. You know, I still was like, I felt invisible. I was always the one looking on the side. not really participating, not sure if I should participate, you know, making sure everything is okay before I move. And I think as an actor, those are all the things you don't do. You know, you're more spontaneous, you're more free, and you trust. It's an you have to trust the environment, and I think that's what led me to acting. To give, and I actually liked it. It was very challenging at first, of course, because I had to really open up and allow myself to feel and show emotions and speak up, which that was scary.
Scary for you.
Yeah.
So tell me, before this one-woman show that you're doing, what were some of the roles that you would play?
I love playing roles, Shakespeare's. I love Shakespeare. I went to, I did a 2-year program, just all Shakespeare monologues, and it was fantastic. I love the language. I love the wit. I love the nuances of the text, and I love playing those characters. So that was one. I love you know, formal sort of style dressing. I think I'm very like 18th century. Like if I were to be back in a time, I think I would like to be those types of that style. I just like that whole dressing.
Do you have like a monologue, a special monologue that you hold close to your heart?
These days, no, I think if I were to, right now, I would say something from my piece, just because it's so fresh in my head. But before, I used to do a Shakespeare monologue. I was Phoebe, and now I can't remember which play. But it was a teenage love, because Shakespeare also has these love interests, and I'm jealous of the boyfriend. Well, I think my boyfriend is not connecting, doesn't like me, so I'm trying to find ways for him to like me. So it's, you know.
Is there a line that you could give us?
Oh gosh, not off the top of my head. Something I'm thinking of. Sylvius was his name, and something that's like, because I think I can't quite remember, but I think I had to dress like I dressed incognito to see what he was saying about me. I can't remember the line though.
Okay.
That's something Sylvius.
Okay, not a problem. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to talk all about this one-woman solo show that you've been doing, the tour that you have,
Great.
and we're going to find out more and get some people to come out for your show.
Great.
Welcome to Platinum Celebrations Incorporation, event planner and on-day coordinators. Formal or casual, large or intimate, held at a private residence, dazzling venue, or the beach. Platinum Celebrations' unparalleled service and attention to details will take your special occasion from the ordinary to the extraordinary. As a full-service event planning company, our service goes beyond design and decor to encompass entertainment, linen and table settings, flower arrangements, party favors, invitations, photography, and so much more. From selecting the perfect site to achieving the perfect mood. We promise to guide you through the planning process from beginning to end, and we are on site throughout the entire event to ensure all of your time and money invested goes according to your liking. Contact Shivy at 347-432-8545 for a free consultation. Remember, Platinum Celebrations is here for your special day.
2 months ago, after my mother's hospitalization, the doctors wanted to put her on hospice. And I'm like, you know, they deemed her terminal. And I saw Mr. Thakur, I think the founder, on TV, and he was advertising this Indian community in Kings Harbor. It's a great Indian community where my mother feels at home, and she expresses her happiness to me whenever I come.
I know when I come, I feel happy. I stay couple and I see everybody, and I'm so happy.
I brought my mother here like a month and a half ago, and I haven't regretted my decision. It's one of the best decisions I've made for my mother. It's a home away from home.
Well, the most important thing is capturing that special moment. No matter what the occasion is, big or small, Digital Photo by Buddy can capture it all. For all of your memorable events, whether it is a wedding, graduation, anniversary, sweet 16, puja, baby shower, or 9-day, Buddy will do it all. Just call Buddy at 917-741-9876. Digital Photo by Buddy, capturing your memories. Please mention you saw this ad on Let's Talk with Lakshmee.
It's Christmas time, and flute players, drummers, and flouncers, and costumes and masks dance in the street. Look.
Do you know what? I don't want Granny's macaroni and cheese. I need it. Now.
Then you had your pocket full in Abee tell me morning. Now because you money all you hustle for tell me morning.
Wow, Ingrid, that was an amazing clip. What happened when Granny found out that you ate that macaroni pie? What happened?
You know what? She knew it was me because she said, who was it? Mm-hmm. It was not my older sister. It was me. She knew it. So what she did was nothing. So I kind of crept back upstairs after I finished eating, and she says, she's looking at me because she could tell, the face, probably still the cheese is on the side of my mouth, and she looks at me and she says, yeah, I know, y'all miss y'all parents, but y'all parents, so she changes the whole story. She doesn't scold me, right? She just kind of starts to say, well, I know what's going on with you guys, you miss your parents, and don't give up, things happen for a reason. This is going to make you girls stronger. It's your spirit that counts. It's the love that counts. So she was basically just letting me be, which was very, very sweet.
Very sweet.
Yeah.
So Ingrid, we saw you in here as a little girl. We saw Grandma in here as well. What other characters, how many other characters is in this one-woman show?
I play 16 other characters.
16 other characters.
Yes.
Who are the most prominent characters in this play?
I think Abee, my grandmother, my dad's mom.
That's the strict one.
Just the very, very strict one. And my dad and my mom, because when we go to America, you see them. Also my character, because I'm in it, the child, the 7-year-old, and the teenager, you see a lot, because I'm also the narrator. So I become the kid, and then I tell you the story, a little bit of the story. Then I become the kid again, or I become the teenager, and I tell you a little bit of the story. So you see my character growing, and that's the thing. That's kind of interesting, because then my character is at 14, 15, thinking about having sex, and you see that 7-year-old now as a teenager, thinking of sex and dating and talking about things that teenagers talk about and have issues that teenagers have issues about. So you see that character grow.
Now, did you write this one-woman show?
Yes.
How long did it take you to write this?
It took 2 years. Lots of workshops. I wrote it first as my master's thesis for my creative writing degree. I then decided that 400 pages in that I wanted to do it, act it, because number one, I'm an actor. There's not a lot of work out there. It's not like I'm also a teacher. So it would be a great vehicle for me to show what I can do as an actor, the range, and also tell my story, which I really, really needed to tell for many reasons. And one is part of that whole invisible, no voice, just being heard as a group, as a community, talking about things that affect our culture that kind of gets swept under the rug, even as culturally it gets swept under the rug, because the story talks a little bit about domestic violence in my home, and I really show that. And so the process was it took a while to kind of flesh out and become a show from a book format to a show. So it was ongoing for a while.
What lessons can be learned from Demerara Gold?
Well, I think first and foremost, to understand everyone's, people's point of views, understand your heritage, understand a culture, understand what's going on in that culture, to then understand what the decisions people make and why they make those decisions, because it's sort of, sometimes you got to make some pretty tough decisions. And so you have to understand the whole thing, not just say, oh, your parents left you, how poor things, how could they do that, horrible parents. No, it's what was going on in our country that made them make these decisions. And also as a person coming from another country, understanding the cultures, because once again, I get here and there's this culture clash. I don't belong. I don't feel like I belong. And what's that like to just be more accepting of someone else and their culture, and to learn from that, So it's also about acceptance. Newness is okay. Something very different than what you're used to is actually okay, and you can actually learn a lot and grow a lot from that, and have lots of, empathy is very important, I think. Understanding, being in your, someone else's shoes, having a bigger worldview of how we all fit into this big globe,
right.
And also the human condition, that we're all basically the same. There's some uniqueness, but there's so many more similarities. And I think if we can all get that, we can become healthier individuals, healthier households, healthier communities. And I think it's really about showing the human condition and understanding that we are all sort of in this together, and there are ways to get healthier. There are ways to do things differently and to be better as a community. Yes.
Wonderful. Tell me, why the name Demerara Gold?
Well, I think, Demerara is a river. Right. It was one of the counties in Guyana. Also, Demerara is a pretty rough river. It's really intense. And there's something about Guyana that's very intense. It's like, it's beautiful, but it's also intense. So there's that. There's this intensity as a child, I believe. The separation was intense. The living alone, apart from my parents, were intense. Coming to America is pretty intense. The culture is, you got to jump and jump. It's like different pace. So I think that has a lot to, Demerara, that metaphor, I think it's a good metaphor. The gold thing has a lot to do with, in Guyana, as you know, gold is very, very distinct. Our gold, Guyanese gold, is not like any other gold. My grandfather was a miner. My granny's husband, in the story you'll hear, and he went into the mines for months at a time digging for gold. That's how he made his money. And a lot of people back then, husbands back then, that's what they did. I mean, people still do it now, but that was how they tried to make a living, digging for gold. And gold was very, it's like a luxury. But no matter how poor you were in Guyana, if you had a gold, you get your gold ring. You make sure everybody has a gold ring on their hand, because it was a status. It said our country. It said, promise. It had a, and actually that's what my mom did before they left. They gave us, my sister and I, gold rings before they left for the States. So that was like a promise that they'll be back soon. So that's.
So Ingrid, tell me, why should our audiences come out to see Demerara Gold?
I hope they come out because they want to really get a good slice of what our experience is like. As you said, there are some Guyanese Americans where they weren't born in Guyana, but they maybe have parents or grandparents that grew up in Guyana and told them a little bit about Guyana. I think this would be a really nice story for them to really see what their parents or grandparents have been telling them. Sometimes your parents say it, but when you see it and from somebody else or hear it differently, you really get it. And I think it's about celebrating heritage and culture. First and foremost, it's something about us as a people that I think I want to share and for us to own. I mean, we hear all these stories about all these other cultures and groups, right, coming. The Irish came, how the Irish came, but I don't think I have ever seen a play about a Guyanese community. Maybe a Jamaican community, maybe, but not much. And so my thing is, we make up a lot of this, especially in New York State and New York City. We're a big population, and we contribute a lot to this culture and this growing and thriving America. And my thing is, we should be heard and seen. Not just us, but even the other communities should know about us. People should not tell me, oh, you mean Ghana?
Right. I totally agree. Well, Ingrid, it was really exciting to have you on the show. I wish you so much luck with Demerara Gold. I know you're leaving for Guyana in a couple of days.
Yes.
When you come back, you're going to have some shows in New York City.
Absolutely.
So we, on Let's Talk with Lakshmee, and of course at the beautiful, elegant Floral Design where we're shooting today, will definitely come out.
Oh,
and
thank
see
you so much. And this is a beautiful space.
Yeah, so good luck.
Thank you.
We can't wait to see your show.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, viewers, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Let's Talk with Lakshmee, which was shot at the beautiful, elegant Floral Design Studios. This week we had the talented Ingrid Griffith with her one-woman show. Make sure you catch one of the shows, whether it's in Guyana or in New York City or wherever else she will be in the future. I'll see you guys all next week, same time, same place. It's a date. Let's talk.
Guyana, oh, Guyana.
I know this school is a place set up in the community to help children to further their education, to achieve a goal, a computer certificate. I want to thank God for the scholarship for Rebecca Jerram, sponsored by the school. And the owner, I just want to thank God for them. They can continue doing the good work as they are doing in this community.
Guyana, raise your hand up high.
I want to say special thanks to Save Abee Computer School because my daughter visits the school. She do a computer course here, and she went for an interview at the Regional Democratic Council for a job with 49 persons for 2 spots. And she indicated to them that she do a course at Save Abee Computer School and she do have a certificate. And as soon as she produced the certificate, she was hired on the spot.
People say that there's other place to go, but there's nowhere like Guyana, Stand up proud, celebrate. It's time, we just can't wait.
Hello Guyana, my name is Lakshmee Singh from the Let's Talk with Lakshmee TV show, and I'm here to talk to you all about the very serious case of the suicide epidemic that's going on in Guyana. I spoke with Mr. Anand Bujram, who is the CEO of the Caribbean Voice a few days ago, and he brought to my attention that in 2014, Guyana has been rated the #1 Caribbean country in the world with the highest rate of suicide. I was completely shocked, lost for words to know that the country that I was born in has such a serious case when it comes to suicide. Those of you who are watching this clip right now and saying, yeah, I know someone that committed suicide, or yeah, I know someone who attempted suicide, please don't sit back. Be the person that helps. If you yourself is experiencing thoughts of suicide or thinking that there's no other way and you don't know what to do except to maybe go this route, I'm here to tell you, it's not worth it. It's not worth taking your life. And I'm here to tell you that after every storm, there is a rainbow. Believe me. I know you're home, sitting back, looking at this clip, and maybe thinking that Lakshmee doesn't know what she's talking about. But let me tell you, I promise you, there is a better tomorrow. And if you're not strong enough at this point to think about yourself, think about your family. Think about the other lives that you will affect.
I've heard that in Guyana, many people are taking their lives because of relationships. Let me tell you, someone else's life is not more valuable than yours. Do not take your life because maybe your relationship did not work out. It really is not worth it. Sometimes we suffer in work, jobs, and family, and education. There's stress all around the world. But let me tell you, there is help. You can reach out to the hotline number. You can call. You can talk to a friend, talk to your teacher, talk to your wife, talk to your husband, talk to your mother, talk to your father. Talk to us here at the Caribbean Voice. Remember, before you take your life, know that your life